Hey everyone, I'm Kendall Tyson, the owner of Aspire Counseling and Wellness Center, and I want to welcome you to our web series titled Black and Abroad. This is our first episode of our series, and I would love to welcome our first guest, Shagi Defoe. Say hey, Shagi.
What's up, people? Yeah, I didn't know I was the first. Oh, damn. Okay.
Yes, you are the first. You are the first. So I
The
wanted to
nerves
give
are on.
I want to give just a brief introduction. Shagi hails from the Commonwealth. I'm probably going to say it wrong, so I know you're going to correct me. Of Dominica.
It's fine.
That's it, right?
Yeah, just not the DR. There's the DR, and then there's Dominica, like an hour flight away. Yeah.
Dominica. He's corrected me a few times before. Dominica. He is currently living in Beijing, China. He's an entrepreneur out here, does a lot of great work, has an amazing restaurant. And just a little bit about him, grew up in a beautiful Caribbean island. He enjoys nature, casual conversation, good food, and good rum. He says that he has an affinity for style and sneakers. I think you're doing some design work too, right?
A little bit, yeah. I've done it in the
Okay.
past, but yeah.
Okay. So professionally, he works in marketing in the branding sector, building brands, and currently he is building Larry the Bird and a couple of other projects. You can check him out on his LinkedIn for more information. And I can definitely say that the work that he's doing is great work. I frequent his establishments all the time. So
Right.
I want to welcome Shagi, our first guest. Welcome.
Oh, thank you for the internets and the interwebs and everybody gonna see this in the future. After we're long gone and we're soil, people are gonna be like, who are these two people on this thing talking about this stuff? What's going on?
Nothing. I'm so glad you're here. So I think before we get into the nitty gritty of what we're going to talk about today, I just want to ask you, who is Shagi Defoe? Who would you say you are?
Just a dude. Yeah, like you said before, I'm from the Caribbean, and I've always kind of I mean, people can consider me the black sheep of my family, but I've always been the rebel, the one that does things a little bit differently. My mom, I got that trait from my mom, but and I decided to come to China in 2004. I got a scholarship to do an undergrad, and I said yes without thinking too much about it. And I came over here. This one in China was the Wild Wild West, and it was a great experience. Actually, I would definitely say I found myself here. I was a 19-year-old kid just trying to figure out life, and then I grew up here. But as for me and stuff, I've always been a marketing person. I've always loved that whole aspect of business, creating a brand and structuring it and trying to go through the whole process of like brand customer fit. So I did an undergrad in marketing. And in my sophomore year, a buddy of mine from the Bahamas and we started a company called Street Hustle Promotions, where we did parties, mainly targeting expat kids that were in China studying, because the party scene in China was not good. It was not good. And we decided to like make it better. So we decided to just create a company and do some stuff. And that ran for about 4 years till I left that. Then I went into fashion with sunglasses, brand called Dynasty.
I have a pair.
Thank you very much. And then I did some consulting work with some other fashion brands and now I'm in F&B and trying to create a brand called Larry the Bird, which is under the Migos group of companies. And we're trying to create this fast casual experience with roasted chicken, chicken sandos, good beer, and a really cool ambience, old school hip hop and R&B and funk, and a diner style design on the spot. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. Yeah, that's me.
I can attest to the food at Larry because my favorite is the rotisserie chicken,
the
fries, and every time I go in, y'all jamming some of my favorite music. So
we try to make it
a
place. Yeah, we're trying to target psychologically get you and then also get you barely happy. So it's like
exactly. So I'm wondering, like, what do you think is the through line? What is the thing that connects you to do the work that you found yourself doing?
Um, I I don't know. I've always been keen on design, and I've always been like meticulous about how I see things, how I do things, how I put things together, whether it be for personal use or in my professional life. And um, I don't know. Even when I was growing up, I would always like meticulously put my room in a certain way and design it how I wanted it to be efficient, but also cool. And it
Yeah.
was never messy. It was always in place and everything. Not OCD, but like you know. And I think that from a kid, it just kind of happened that way. And it just carried me through a phase where I wanted to like I went through a writing phase as well. So writing creatively when I was a kid led me to doing copywriting, which also led me to add copy to things that I was working on. I just think it's a desire to see things in a slightly cooler way, I guess. Um, Not super fashion forward, but just aesthetically pleasing, I guess that's the term.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know how I got here. I really don't know. It's just a series of fortunate events.
It sounds like it. But I think like one of the things that you said earlier, that you coined yourself as the black sheep of the family. And often the black sheep of the
Yeah,
family is the risk taker, the truth teller, the one that
yeah,
likes to live outside the box. And so you definitely have to have a certain quality about you to pick up and move to a whole nother country and live your life.
yeah. My mom was always is still, I mean, she's still here with us. She's still the adventurous type, and she's always the one that's willing to try something new. My
Yeah.
dad is more of a square. And so he didn't get it. He still doesn't get it. He's like, you're in China for 17 years, you're married to an Indonesian, you're doing restaurants. Like he doesn't get any of that. He's an engineer, he's very square, whatnot. But my mom has always been the out of the box thinker. And I guess I got that trait from her. So when I
Yeah.
tell her that I'm doing something weird, she's like, oh, that sounds cool. My dad would be like, why are you doing this? But
So what does she
um
say? What does she say about the things that you're getting into while you're here in Beijing?
she's always been my biggest cheerleader. Like my mom, even when I was a kid doing dumb shit, she was always, oh, I don't know if I could, yeah, but anyway, she was always
Say
the
what you
person
want. Say what
to,
you want.
she was always the person to like be my cheerleader on my side. Even if I was doing it wrong, she would like guide me and to do it better, but she would always be like, yeah, try it, do it. Like you only live once.
Yeah.
My dad is the opposite. But so I don't know. I don't know where she got it from. We never had that deep conversation about it, but she was always been that person in my life. And I guess she kept me when I said something that's more crazy in people's minds, she would be like, sure, try. And I'll just go ahead and do it. And then she would love to hear the stories about it. But like I think she wanted to also be someone like that in her past, and society and the time she grew up didn't afford her that luxury. So
Yeah.
now that having at least one of her sons being this crazy individual, I mean, she has four of them, and I'm the one that decides to like go.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. Yeah. I've often wonder, the lives that we live, do our parents live vicariously through us? It sounds like you are kind of extending, the
I think
life
so.
that she's been able to provide for you all.
I think so. Like when we have conversations, even my wife always says like, my relationship with my mom is so different than any other mother son relationship that she's seen, because we don't really speak like mother. And so I have mad respect and love for her, but at the same time we
Right.
kick it. Like we talk like
Right.
it's just like she's my home girl, and we just
Yeah.
like even growing up, we would sit on the balcony back home before I came to China and just talk about all types of stuff, whether it be girls or stuff that I'm going through. And we would just have these conversations. And I guess I mean, in this sense, I guess she was kind of like my therapist. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
maybe that's why I haven't gotten another one since then, because there's nobody that can top that one.
It's good that you
Wow, you're
have.
good at this, Kendall. You're very good at this.
I'm good at what I do, trust me. So I think that it's really good that you have that really strong connection to somebody that you can open up to earnestly and honestly. So I want you to hold on to that, because that would be definitely an element of one of these questions that I throw at you that you were able to look at beforehand, so you're not gonna be
I
surprised.
wasn't expecting to go that deep on that side, and it just happened. So you're pretty good at getting this stuff out of me.
That's what makes it good, right? When the truth comes out, right?
Yeah.
So I wanna ask you, like, you've been here. How long did you say? I don't do math.
17
I'm a people
years.
person. So oh wow.
Yeah. 17. Yeah.
It
And
goes
I'm
by
probably
so
gonna be here for at
quickly.
least 2 or 3 more at least. You know.
Okay. Everybody I meet is always like, yeah, I came and I thought I was gonna be here for like 2 or 3 years, and it's been 15. I'm just like, how?
Yeah. It's I think I can't go very, very deep in it, but for myself personally, when I came, China was a very different place.
Really?
Very like what you've seen in the last, you've been at 4 years, right?
Yeah,
What
4
you've seen in
years.
that timeline, it's black and white. It's
Wow.
completely different.
Wow.
So and I came when I was 19. So you have to put like a 19-year-old idolized kid, all dreamy eyed, and then
Yeah.
trying to be in this wild, wild west, dusty roads, like no cameras anywhere, like
That's definitely not how it is now.
no WeChat, none of that stuff.
I
Like
don't even
everything
know how
was
y'all survived.
exactly. So this is pre all that stuff, right?
Wow.
And China was for a 19-year-old or early 20-year-old, that phase was beautiful.
Yeah. That's
So
life.
yeah, it was the Wild Wild West, and it allowed you to. I was in undergrad, meeting people. Time so that first 5 years was pretty much school. It flew by, and then opportunities kept coming because this is like just after the Olympics, which was amazing. Oh my god,
Oh, I bet.
that could be a whole other conversation. But anyway, so going through that stage, everything was very different, and it allowed you to stay easily. It wasn't complicated.
Yeah.
Now it's a lot more policy driven and strict and like adult, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm an adult now, so it kind of matches most of where my attention is. So that's why I think I'm still here. And now that I have the restaurant, which we're trying to grow into a franchise, that takes a lot of time and a lot of work. And so I'm gonna be here for a little bit more before I decide to go on a beach and raise some goats or something.
That sounds interesting. Become a family man, farmer.
Yeah, I mean, we're expecting our first in a few months. So
what? Congratulations!
yeah, breaking news,
Breaking news, everybody. Y'all heard it here, huh? Congratulations. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm so happy for you all. Well, you know what, that really, okay, so here's a good question. I'm wondering, what has been a defining moment for you while living abroad?
Defining moments. There's a lot of them, I guess. Meeting my wife is definitely top of that list because we met in a very unconventional way. We met at a club. And,
I think that's
yeah,
standard here,
but
right?
yeah. And another memorable moment was probably like when I'm talking about the events company, getting our first gig was a weird situation of stars aligning, friends in LA to people here there's a lot of defining moments. I can't really pinpoint one particular one. I just go with my wife. She'll probably be happy to hear that one. Let's go with that one.
So I'm wondering, with the major events that you've been able to experience being here and the growth that you say you've made, what's a way that you think that you've changed into the person that you are now?
I think about that like at least once or twice a year. And it's hard to define it because when you're thinking about certain things like this, it's always a compare and contrast. But I don't have anything to compare it against. All I can do is compare it with my friends that stayed either back home in the Caribbean or went to school in the States. I can compare it to that. But it's not a fair comparison, right? But I would definitely say the strangest thing that's happened since I've been living here, because China is a place of fast, 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 money, 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 and whatnot. And it actually has made me over the last, I would say, 5 or so years, I've been thinking the opposite. I've been thinking more about mental health and being balanced and money not being everything and success not being everything. And being happy and content with whatever you have.
Right.
And that's weird, especially for someone living here. But it has been what I've been toying with for the last years, because you have to balance it. Because China is really about finance, and it's trying to balance that. Living here as an expat, you have to have your finances in order. You not just, you can't just go to grandma's house to get some sugar. So but yeah, I've been thinking more about less. I've been thinking more about less.
Yeah. When I hear you say that, when I think of it in my therapist mind, I don't see it as less. I see it as just different, right?
I guess,
a variation, right? Because like you said, China is really materialistic. It's about that money. It's about what can you show people. And it sounds as if you're in a space where those things matter, but there's so much more that I hear you're finding joy and meaning from, that's going to help you to live a different version of your life at this season. I'm wondering, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's probably because, like, I think about it for the last 5 years or so, but over the last 2, especially because of, he would not be named, the virus going around. It's been like, what is it? What is this success thing? What is this? What are you trying to, like, what is it? What are you trying to, is it a legacy? Leave it for your kid, and then, oh, my dad did this, and like, I'm like, I don't know about this. And I'm happy that it happened right now, because now that I'm expecting a kid, I don't really care about I'm gonna leave them a estate in the hills and they can do whatever. I don't know, it's just a weird state of like meaningfulness, like try to live in the present time we have, the limited time we have, and try to make the most of it. And that doesn't include having all the Louis Vuitton bags or anything. It just means being able to wake up and smile that you're good, you're okay, like things are okay. They might not be great, but they're okay. Yeah,
I hear you. So then that leads me to think, like, you get to determine your own construct of success. You get to figure out, what does that look like at this juncture, and how does it align with what it is that you're trying to do, in this life.
Yeah, for sure. And now it's not totally reliant on money or material. It's more about, like, for example, case in point, like Larry, like my partners and I, we came up with this idea a few years ago. Like, it's been a while, and it was on the back burner because other things mattered more. And we got an opportunity to do it. And now it's about, how do we, yes, it's a restaurant, it's a physical business. We have staff, we have all that stuff. Sales versus not going too crazy into the influencer space and trying to milk every single cent from every single sale. How do we balance that? And how do we balance that with our lives? Because the restaurant and the business is one thing, but we also have our families and our lives to deal with. How do we balance it and not be at the restaurant 24/7, not focus on restaurant growth 24/7, but do it in a strategic way that balances our personal life and the restaurant's growth? And that's very tricky, especially here. But we're trying to do it. We're trying to figure it out. And like right now, we're trying to think about the second Larry, and where should we position that? Should we position it in Beijing or another city? And how should we go about it in a way that, again, we're not going to be overly stressed by doing a second or third or fourth, but that it can be done in a way that we can do it. And that
That sounds like a great goal, but I think that it sounds as if the way you're approaching it is very pragmatic, which
trying.
When I think of like the beginning of the year planning and stuff, I always like to have like a guiding word of the year. And if I were to gift a word to you for this year, my word for you would be balance. And what does that look like? To live your best life, be the best entrepreneur, husband, brother, soon to be father, and balance these things while, prioritizing your mental health.
It's a lot of plates. It's a lot of plates.
It's some juggling taking place.
And it's like, with Larry, that's going okay. But now we thinking up with Larry number two. We also have a
Yeah.
new concept opening maybe in May or June. That's more of a New York City type lounge space.
Okay.
And that's another project. And then I might be going back into fashion later this year. And yes, fatherhood. My brother is here, so being a good brother, um, friends, my wife, and there's a lot of stuff. But the two words I have were one was balance, so thank you for reiterating that, and my second word was gratitude. For
Mm,
that's my ethos going into the next like 5 years, like
okay.
balance and gratitude.
So do you
And
do vision board?
I don't, but I have a thing on my phone that I kind of created a vision wallpaper, because you see your phone every day. So it's like it's easier there. So I have a vision wallpaper of like, I think it's like 5 or 6 things that are images that capture things that I want to do in the next 5 years.
That's literally a
So
vision board.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, balance and gratitude is like my focus for the next chapter.
Okay. Well, keeping those things in mind, I want to kind of shift into the mental health space, right? As Black people of the diaspora, we know
Mm,
that mental health hasn't always been the topic to discuss.
not at
And
all.
we all have it. And then sometimes, depending on what we're experiencing, where we are in life, we may struggle with mental illness, which isn't an issue. But I'm wondering, when you think of your cultural influences, what kind of like
Mhm.
were the attitudes or conversations that you and your family or friends had when it came to, the topic of mental health?
Well, for sure, like you just said, like in the Black community, it's an unspoken thing. In the
Yeah.
Black Caribbean community, it's exactly the same.
Okay.
And from my I mean, let's go from my dad's perspective, it's not spoken. Like that doesn't
Mm,
exist. There's no such thing as mental health, or stress is not even a word. My mom's perspective is a little different. For some reason, she gets it. I don't know who introduced her to it or what happened, but she got it. Because I remember I would speak to her about this stuff in high school. Because
yeah.
we all go through these weird phases in high school where things are like, oh my God, she doesn't like me, or oh my God, he got the new Nikes and I did not, and blah, blah,
Right. Right.
blah.
Right.
And puberty and all that stuff. So she was always
Right.
there for me for that kind of stuff. And I don't know if she knew what she was doing, but she would help me through it.
Mhm.
And but on a grander scheme, yeah, there was no infrastructure for that. So coming here, I came with that same thought process of, oh, I just got to do it. Just got to work, 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 work. And
Right.
it's only recently, like I said, in like the last 5 years, that I've been caring about what goes on up here, and
Yeah.
which affects the whole rest of the body.
Right.
And I haven't gotten to the point yet to talk to anyone,
Mhm.
of like your caliber as yet. I really
You.
hope I can. I really hope I can get there, because I think it's supremely important. Um, the mind controls everything,
Yeah.
and if your mind is not right or not aligned in the right way, it affects everything. It affects your
Right.
job. It affects your family. It affects your demeanor. You might drink more tequila shots than usual. Um, so I think it's immensely important, and I emphasize this a lot with friends that I speak to, and I even talk to our staff now about this kind of stuff,
Mhm.
because some of our staff, they have their own personal issues, and they would say like, we want to work overtime, and I'm like, we'll give you overtime, but if you get overtime now, we'll get it next time because we think rest is important and you need to keep yourself. Like, no, 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 we need the money, we need the money, and we're trying to like influence it, but it's so hard with them.
Yeah.
But at least for me and my household, I try to make it an important fact to relax and to, do a staycation, or, just go to the park and sit down in peace, read a book for fun. Uh, like sometimes at night I use this meditation sleeping app that kind of like calms my mind, where I do it for
That's
like the
good.
first 15 minutes. So I try to put these little ingredients into my pot, and but hopefully the next stage will be like letting it out, and yeah.
I hear you.
I have a question. I have a question for you though.
Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I have a question for you. How do you like? I'm assuming that it works the same way, but how do you handle yours?
How do I handle my mental health here?
Yeah, yeah.
So some things
As
that
a
I do.
mental health professional in China.
So as a mental health professional, it is vital that we have our own outlet, right? So I meet with my therapist once a month. Sometimes it may be more depending on what time of year it is. So for instance,
Okay.
I tend to get seasonal affective disorder around the holidays. Like November when that cold snap hits and then the holidays come. Because I love Thanksgiving, right? And so
Okay.
my
Okay.
family will be at home eating turkey, everybody
Yeah.
together, and I'm over here still having fun. But
But it's
I
different.
noticed it's very different. Like my first year was very difficult, but I'm aware of myself when I notice that my behaviors change if I stay in a lot more, if I'm not reaching out as much as I normally am, because I'm a very much of a people person. So I speak to my therapist once a month. I journal. I do my best to exercise 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
I create things. You know, I'm always got something going on when it comes to mental health, be it a group or a journal
You do.
or something. I do a lot of writing. I love to read. And I'm trying to get more into meditation because I know that it's good for you. The way my mind races, I'm trying to work out a way that it works for me. I haven't figured that out yet. Even though I'm a professional, I definitely recommend it to people. I'm doing it. I think I want to be a bit more intentional. That's my word for the year for 2022 is intentional. So I'm trying to be a bit more intentional when it comes to mindfulness and learning to kind of still my mind and turn my focus. So thank you for that question. Those are some of the things that I'm trying to do consistently when it comes to managing my health.
Yeah, I've tried the meditation thing a few times and to no avail. Like
but that's the thing. It
so
works.
much going on.
Right.
Yeah,
So
it's like a muscle.
it is very much so. And so people have a misconception that when you meditate, you're not supposed to think about anything. And that can be further from the truth. It's learning how to turn your mind back to the present. There's an analogy that I was given. I was reading this book and it talks about how like your saliva glands are made to produce spit. Okay, well, your brain is made to produce thoughts. That's not something that you can turn off, right?
That's
But
true. You're right.
You can choose what you're thinking and you can choose how to shift your focus back to the present, which is going to help reduce like anxiety and things like that. So that's literally what meditation is learning how to turn your mind back to the present moment.
I'm gonna keep working on it.
Trying. Definitely
keep working on it.
I'm gonna keep working on it. Yes, keep working on it. So I think I kind of have an understanding of how your mental health has been impacted. And one of the things I really appreciate that you shared is how you're trying to infuse wellness, you know, into the culture of your business. And I know that within a working and living, being guests in a country where mental health is just now beginning to emerge as a thing that's important, I can only imagine how challenging a task that is.
It's very, very, very challenging. Very challenging. One of the ways that we are emphasizing it without telling the staff is by like doing less crazy things. Like, you know, before a new restaurant, you'd be doing an event every week or trying to do all this new stuff, which the staff has to like change their you know, scheduling for and all that stuff. We're trying to do less of that so that they know that, you know, what they do is just regular most of the time. And even these little things help. But it's tough. But it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm wondering, does like the planning, just like you plan events or launches, I'm wondering what it could look like, you know, to plan how you begin to incorporate more mental health awareness, maybe not necessarily explicitly, because what people don't understand is they do a lot of things that benefit their mental health. So it's something that, I'm wondering could it look like to kind of have people assess their work life and their personal life, and what does it look like to welcome balance into these spaces?
Well, something that we want to do this summer at least is to at least try to do a staff family day
Okay,
where
that's
we
fun.
will get like substitutes to do their tasks and have them come into the restaurant with their families and friends and hang out for the day and eat and talk and then do different play games. So that's something that I'm thinking about later, maybe in the fall, just before like October holiday or something. So I'm looking into that as a thing that we could do actually, like, let the family see what they do on a regular basis, but also they can be chill and talk about it. And like, we're trying to do this kind of stuff. But again, another thing about China is the stuff changes so quickly.
Yeah.
Like we have like, I mean, since we opened about 9 months ago, we've had like turnaround of about 25%.
Oh wow.
And that's a lot. So it's like plan to do it, but then it's new staff and it's so
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
I hear
We'll figure
you.
it out.
Well, if you need
But
help with facilitating that process, just let me know.
yeah, okay, I'll holler.
Let me ask you this. We're drawing nigh, right? I'm curious. I know that as a Black man, having a certain level of notoriety in our community here, what kind of example do you think being a Black man that's championing, prioritizing his mental health, what kind of example do you think that could set for other men, other Black men of the diaspora to kind of give themselves permission to do these things for themselves and know that it's still masculine?
For the few people that I'm close to, I don't like, I have a massive, like you were saying, like semi notoriety, but I have this like levels, there's an onion of
Right.
these levels where my core is maybe
Yeah.
like 10 people and then it expands from there. So I just stick with my core and then I try to decipher as much, whether it be knowledge directly related to mental health or just like periphery things, like being exercising regularly, like
Right.
not going crazy at the club or at the bar every night, like
Right.
being at peace with oneself, like
Yeah.
go hang out and do something completely different. We have this mentality where we always need to turn up, and I'm like, I've done my fair share of, I've done
Same.
more than my share of turning up, but I like to do different things. Go for walks. I like to go for walks in like 798 and just walk around the art district. And
Yeah.
I would invite other brothers with me on these walks, and we just hang out and talk and try to go as deep as possible. It doesn't have to be super deep, but like
Yeah.
whatever you're happening in a relationship or your job, and just like let it out and have a meal and then talk. And that's what I do.
Yeah.
And then I hope that they then do it to their circles, and then the ripple
Right.
effect will occur. Because I can't help everyone. I have I have no time
Right.
to help
Right.
everyone, or even like I don't even help myself that much. So I, especially with my brother, like
Yeah.
my brother have a great relationship now, but he's 11 years younger than me. And when he
Okay.
was born, I hated him.
I
I
get
hated
it.
him. I was like, why did you come here? I
Right.
was good. I was the last. And even when I came up to China when he was maybe like, he was very young, like 7, 6, 7.
Hmm.
And when I would go home on vacation, I would be with my friends, going and turn up because I have like a month or two of break. I'm like, yeah, I'm not
Right.
bringing my little brother with me.
Yeah.
So apparently that really affected him. And I had
Oh,
no idea, none,
oh,
zero, until he came here. And I don't even I was fighting for him to come here years before he actually did pull the trigger and
yeah.
come here. And I didn't know why either. I'm like, why are you? He's thinking about Alaska. And I'm like, why are you going to Alaska? Like,
Oh,
you got
I,
melanin. Like, what are you going to Alaska? And so he finally came. And then he expressed to my wife first. And then
mm,
she expressed it to me.
a
And
safer
then I
space.
understood. Yeah, I understood. And it took about a year and a half for us to like get there. But now we're good. And because of that, I realized what could happen without you even knowing it.
Yeah.
Like he has all this anguish and all this pain and all this hurt, and I had no idea at all.
Wow.
And now we're like best buds. So now every couple of weeks we get together and spend the whole day together,
That's
doing
awesome.
anything. Put together in a bookshelf or going on a walk or going cycling. We love to cycle. Doing different things, whatever it is, a
Yeah.
movie, whatever.
I think
And
that's
that just
fabulous.
builds the bond, and with that, I hope that it helped him be better, so that when he is talking to his friends, he can then spread that appeal as well.
But I hope you know that you also grew through that experience as well. It takes a lot of reflection, right? And not taking things personally and being able to be receptive to
push
what
back
it
a lot.
is.
It took a couple of months, a few months before I was like, okay. Because he was like coming at me. Yeah, he was coming at me for job, and I'm like, what?
Oh, he was angry.
But then it took some time, and I was patient, and over time, and now it's good. Now we're good.
Yeah. What I really like that you're saying is that both of you are willing and open to move together in this healthier space. And
now we tag team
on other people.
Now we tag team with my dad, with our dad, right? Because he's the one that doesn't like, he's like, ugh. And so we tag team on him now, and now he's getting better.
Oh my gosh.
And this is remote, like this is from FaceTime. And I'm like, and we see it happening, and we're like, in our heads, the first reaction is like, what the hell? Why is he saying I love you? He never. Right. But now we're realizing why, because of us. So it's like, okay, we're affecting change from afar.
Look at y'all planting seeds. That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe he's now doing it back home with other men as well. Yes. So
and that's one of the challenges with men and mental health is there are a lot of men in the world that don't have very close relationships. So they struggle with like a lot of anxiety and depression and suicide, unfortunately. So I am so happy that you and your brother have been able to mend, whatever rift there was there, and then, demonstrating, even if it's not explicitly, sharing that to your father, because you notice that things change as you begin to be intentional about, change.
Yeah.
So that leads me to another question. I'm almost done, like drilling you, right? One of them is, what is your hope for the advancement of mental health in, the Black communities?
In the smallest possible term to say, I hope it gets better. But it's like an octopus, right? It has so many tentacles, because it's not just like saying, be happy. Like it's very empty but heavy, loaded. It goes to too many things. Like, for example, let's just say, like, in the States, like, it's not just mental health because of mental health. If you have the strength to do it, great, do it, push it, share it with other people and go. But it's not just that. It's linked to poverty. It's linked to living in a food desert, and it's linked to racism. It's linked to so much stuff that it needs to be unpacked, like one generation at a time, and then hopefully maybe 100 years it will then be cool. It will be chill. It's so much stuff to unpack at this present time that you have to be a avenger to want to like pursue this mental health thing in the States. It's I talk to my friends and my family that are in the States, and I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you do it, how you keep it together, because the things I see and that would
no, I understand. There's a lot of systems that get in the way of equity when it comes to mental health access, which is one of the reasons that I do what I do. There's a term that a business in the States, therapy, not therapy for Black girls, melanin and mental health. What they said was they want to change the face of therapy, not, on the couch and behind, as a therapist and as a client, like we're changing the face of therapy. We want to be able to provide these safe spaces for our own, which, allows people to feel more comfortable to come and share. So I'm wondering,
that's needed. Yeah.
Very much so. I'm wondering, if you were back home, how easy do you think it would be to have these kind of conversations?
I mean, with my friends, like my close friends, I think it would be easy. But to spread that, that would take some skill from a person like you. It would need that, professional that knows how to, that can spot the triggers and like, but like, I think the Caribbean would be because the thing about the Caribbean, right? Like in the States, like we said about all the pressures and everything, and the Caribbean is kind of different. We don't have the pressures, the daily pressure like in the States, like what happens systemically. We don't really have that. It's there a little bit, but it's pretty much for everyone, not just for
Right.
melanated people.
Right.
And how we handle stress in the Caribbean has been significantly one way. Rum, alcohol. That's it.
Okay.
Like alcohol and promiscuity and having a whole bunch of kids with a whole bunch of mamas. Like that's it. So it's different. It's a different curtain to go behind, because now you have to say like, you know why you drink so much, right? And they're like, no, because it's Monday. And they're like, no, because this happened, this happened, this happened. Like, no, it's just Monday.
Right.
So it's a tougher. It would a bit different approach. It would be a different approach.
It reminds me of the Solange song "Cranes in the Sky," where she talks about, I try to drink it away, sex it away, pray it away. No, exactly. You have to face it. But I think what's important for us that are a bit more wise is, what does a space look like to, invite people in to begin to do this good communal work when it comes to healing.
I think we should have like these kind of sessions at the barbershops. Like, the salons and the barbershops. Like, that's it. Like, go there.
Y'all be talking about a whole lot in the barbershops. A whole lot gets done in the barbershop and the salon. So
everything comes out. Like, the barbershop is stronger than the church. Like, I'm telling you, the barbershop, because in the church, you're worried about your appearance or your facade too, more. In the barbershop, you come to get your facade. You know what I mean?
Listen, so, like, we got hangups everywhere. I think, but the key is we're so communally focused. It just takes one person, right, to kind of light that fire. And so, I want you to think about this. What impact do you believe you're making in your community?
By being the best version of me I can. I think that's the only way that I, at the present time, can. If I put the pressure on myself to do more, it might lead me to doing worse.
I hear you.
I just try to be as, I try to lead by example. Like, that's it. I don't have the latitude to speak to everyone individually, but from what I've heard from people that know me and that have known me for a while, I try to lead by example. I'm a person that believes in more than financial legacy. I more believe in like personality type legacy. Like, I want to be a person that they can call back about, oh, he was a real one. Like, he led by doing the right thing, or at least attempting to be doing the right thing as much as possible. And hopefully that people can see it and are open to seeing it, and then open to continuing that way. And I don't want anybody to believe I'm perfect. I fall. I do some shady shit sometimes, but I try to do way more good than bad.
Right.
And just try to live by example. And if that has a ripple effect with at least one other person, then that will continue.
I hear you. Well, you've talked about at least 2 today, so the ripple's working. Obviously.
There you go. My job is done.
For now. You're working on the legacy for sure.
Yeah.
So, do you have any final words that you'd like to offer before we get to the rapid question round?
Oh boy. Final words. I'll give 2 words. Like I said before, balance and gratitude.
Balance and gratitude, people. Y'all heard it here. So, all right, we have some rapid fire questions. I just want you to tell me what's the one that comes to your mind immediately. And I want you to give one word to describe yourself.
Balanced.
Okay, balance. Favorite country to visit?
Bali. Indonesia is the country.
Mine too. Well, we're going to cities too. Sprite or ginger ale?
Ginger ale.
What kind?
Not the Jamaican one. What's the Jamaican one? I can't remember the brand.
What is it?
Nah, there's a Jamaican brand of ginger ale that just fire, man. I can't remember the name of it right now, but yeah.
Okay.
But Canada Dry is okay too. I mean, we have that at Larry, so yeah.
All right. What's your favorite genre of music? What's your favorite type of music?
Hip hop.
Favorite artist?
That's a tough one. Biggie.
Okay. Favorite self-care activity?
A nice hotel.
Staycations. Oh, so what's your favorite hotel out here?
In Beijing?
Yeah.
Probably. Oh, damn. That's opposite house.
Okay, I've never stayed there. I go to the Union Bar all the time, though. I've never stayed in opposite house.
Opposite house. Chow is also good, and if I really want to go Hutong, I'll go to the Orchid in the Hutong.
Okay. Favorite book?
Orchid is nice. That's a bad question. Let's skip that one.
Favorite musical group?
Musical group?
Yeah.
Musical group. TLC.
Okay. What do you love most about home?
Water, bush.
Yeah,
I love nature. I love nature. Like I feel at peace in nature. Like
cool.
It's my place where I can just
So last one. What's your most memorable or favorite inspirational quote or affirmation?
The sky is merely sky is not the limit, it's merely the view.
Perfect.
Swiss Beats said that.
Well, Shagi, please let us know how we can connect with you on social media.
Instagram only Shagi, OWNLYSHAGI.
Okay.
Shagi Defoe on LinkedIn. Those are the ones that matter.
Okay. We are going to include his details in the show notes, people. But I just want to say thank you so much for being the inaugural guest on Black and Abroad. It has been amazing listening to you share your story. And I look forward to seeing and visiting Larry again. All the great work that you're going to continue to grow. And I can't wait to see your baby.
Yeah. So my wife can't wait to see it too. It's too much now. Like,
Oh, make sure you take care of her.
Yeah, I will.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much.
We'll talk soon.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.